Hello guys, welcome to another backtesting video. Today I'm backtesting the data of Monday 11 December 2023. As I'm backtesting, I'm deciding if I will trade Mondays or not, if I will trade Mondays or I will not trade Mondays. So I am trying to trade as many Mondays as possible so that I can decide if I will trade on Mondays or not, because most of the Mondays are no news. So whenever there is no news, I have figured out that there is a higher probability of our setup appearing when there is no news and winning. So let me show you the trade quickly. And going to the daily time frame, obviously the weekly bias is bearish and we are looking for weekly to go down, something like this. So my weekly bias is bearish, so whenever the weekly bias is clear, I go to the daily to look for what the daily time frame is doing. Daily was making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Now the trend is kind of shifting. Daily has not changed character to the downside yet, and it's also at this demand zone. You will see me marking this demand zone is nothing. The market will respect this demand zone or not, that's what's important. So looking at the daily time frame, Monday went down, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday closed bearish. So GU, my bias was kind of bearish but not that clear. So what I do, I go to DXY, and going to DXY, it literally makes my bias clearer. And also the DXY was on this sort of supply zone as we mark the supply and demand, because we trade supply, demand, liquidity, right? And also the market is either going from one demand to supply or one supply to demand. I've told this a gazillion of times. You guys have obviously known this by now. And going to DXY, my bias was kind of bullish, not that clear of the bias, but as I'm backtesting, I am trying to trade as many Mondays as possible. And yeah, it was not a high probability to trade, obviously. And also one reason of me forcing kind of trade on Monday was due to Monday there was no news. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday there was huge news. Literally, look at this, bro. Whole week there is news, high impact news, and it happens very rarely. So Tuesday I will not trade CPI. Wednesday I will not trade CPI, GDP and CPI, PPI. Sorry. Thursday I will not trade federal funds rate, GBP, monetary policy rate, official bank rates, and also the Euro main refinancing rate, all in one day. I will not trade. Friday there is all day news, USD, Euro, and GBP, manufacturing and services PMI. So obviously it is very low probability throughout the week. So I tried to force a trade on Monday. So let me show you what happened, okay, if I won or lost. So going on Monday, I was looking for my bias was bearish. So on the 4 hourly, I marked the previous week high and low, because that's what we do on the 4 hourly. And also this was the last break of structure. This was the last break of structure somewhere around here. This was the break of structure. You can argue this was the lower high that caused this new lower low, but according to me, this is not a lower low, because it was not able to cause a market structure shift right here, and that was the reason. So now I go to the hourly to mark my day highs and day lows, because we mark these zones, as you guys know by now, because there is a very significant amount of liquidity in those areas. That's why. So I mark the H1 supply, I mark the previous structural liquidity, and also on the M15 I mark the Asian high and low. And basically, if I show you the DXY, correlation, and on DXY what I mark is the opposite of what I do on GU. So I mark this demand zone on H1 and this demand zone on M15, and also the Asian range. So let me show you on GU, because we trade GU, we don't trade DXY. So the Asian range closed something like this. So we only look for trades at 8 a.m. UK time. The market was literally accumulating. Exactly, this is our setup, accumulation. We want to see some sort of manipulation, and then we want to be a part of the distribution, as our bias is bearish. Simple as that. Yeah. So now what I was thinking was, Asian high, if the Asian high got swept, previous structural liquidity gets swept, and this hourly supply zone is mitigated, then I will look for a potential sell. That was what I was thinking going to the market, but it didn't happen, as on 1:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, as the daylight saving is now off, or it's not enabled. So it is 8 a.m. UK time, so there was huge liquidity here, buying liquidity, and due to I am backtesting the M15 time frame. But obviously in the live markets I will watch the market structure or price action at hourly, which will help me to reduce my chance of getting inducement by a lot. Genuinely, if I look in the M15, it's clearly looking like it's now reversing. Asian high liquidity got swept, and it's also our timing, right? So, and also it was aligning with DXY. It was aligning on DXY. Clearly you can see it has filled up this fair value gap, M15 fair value gap, and it was giving a bullish pin bar. So this was the reason of my trade on GU. And if I was watching the markets on hourly, I probably would not have taken this trade, bro. I would not. Genuinely, I would have not taken for this trade. I would have looked for a hourly rejection, and then I would look for a potential trade. But due to I'm backtesting the M15 time frame mostly, that is the reason I was not that content. Yeah. And also, yeah, this trade I would have taken any day, but this was a very low probability trade, as I've also backtested this, and this was a very low probability trade. I have written all the goods, bads, if I won, if I lost, and let me show you what happened. So we got stopped out. We were totally wrong. Our bias was not wrong, but this trade idea was wrong. And on the New York session, going on New York session, we did got our move. So what I told you accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, didn't I? So clearly accumulation, manipulation, distribution did work and do work. Just we have to enable ourselves to be at the correct time at the correct place. So the entry model was literally played out to the T, but it happened to be a losing trade, and on Monday, it was Monday, so yeah, it gave, whenever we lose, it is a feedback, and whenever we make a mistake, also that's a feedback to us. So no problem, losing is a part of the game. And yeah.